All right, we should be good. So, hey everyone, hope everyone's doing well today. So, for today's video, we're now gonna be making our updated prediction now for the Wallabies for their series against the English in July. Very excited to do this, of course. If you haven't checked out already, we made an early prediction for the Wallabies. I'd say around 2 to 3 weeks ago. So, this is now my updated prediction for the Wallabies side. So yeah, really looking forward to do this. Before we do this, guys, definitely hit that like button, guys, right now. Click that like button right now and subscribe to the channel. Subscribe right now, guys. Click that red button. But yeah, let's just get into this. Of course, before we actually get into it, I have 62 players that I'm selecting from, and we will be narrowing it down towards 36 to a 36-man squad, as most international squads tend to be like. But yeah, pretty excited to do this, of course. And yeah, let's just get straight into it. So, of course, we'll start off with the props. So the props, I think, is a pretty, I guess, easy position just because there's a very few players to select from. So let's start off. We do have the likes of Angus Bell, James Slipper, Cameron Orr. We have Tom Robinson and Scott Seo making up, those kind of loose head props that we can go. I think I'm going to select 3 and 3 from both the loose heads and tight heads. So I think first of all, we have to go with Angus Bell. I mean, he's been in sensational form really for the Waratahs, and yeah, I got to give him credit. He's probably been the best loose head prop, I'd say, in Super Rugby for any Australian, really, in my opinion. I mean, second to that, I think you have to go James Slipper. I mean, he just brings a lot of experience in terms of his quality, and yeah, he's been doing pretty well for the Brumbies. So yeah, just gonna go James Slipper. I mean, the third one, Cameron Orr has done pretty well for the Rebels recently, but I'm still sticking to Tom Robinson just because I think he's just proven once again, within that Western Force team why he's just so crucial towards those scrums. So I think I'd like to have him off the bench really. So yeah, I'm gonna go with Tom Robinson as the third choice there. So moving on now towards the tight head props for this team. Now we do have Alexa Tupo here, but he is still injured. So and there is a lot of doubt if he's actually available for this series. So I'm actually not going to include him. So that's probably a hard decision to do, of course, because he might be available to come back towards the series. But I'm actually not going to include him within my prediction. So besides him, you have to go with obviously Alan Alatoa. He's probably been a mainstay really for this Brumbies side. So you have to first go with him. That's kind of a guarantee really. Second to that, I mean, you do have the likes of Flamawasi for the Rebels as well as Harry Johnson-Holmes. And with Taliano Tupo injured, I think you have to go with both of them. So yeah, I think both of them get in really for me. So yeah, there you go. These are the props that I have selected. So yeah, Flamawasi gets in from the Rebels as well as Harry Johnson-Holmes for the Waratahs. And yeah, both of them have been in good form really. So I'm gonna go with them too. So yeah, moving on now towards the hookers for both sides. I mean, for this side really, I mean, it's pretty obvious. I think they go with Fly-halves. He's like the starter, so you got to go with him. He's been brilliant, really, for the Brumbies in recent games. So got to stick with him immediately. Second to him, I think you got to go with Dave Parecki. I mean, he's just been in sensational form, really, for the Waratahs. Obviously, getting a lot of tries, as we all know. But yeah, he's just been really good. So yeah, got to go for him. So besides that, I mean, there is a lot of players I can go for here. I mean, there's only really two. There's Ryan Lonergan, there's as well as Jordan Uwasi for the Rebels, and Kartal for the Western Force. But I think I'm gonna have to go with Lonergan just because he's probably been in the best form out of the 3. So yeah, 2 Brumbies I've gone with there. But yeah, I think that's respectable because I think they all 3 of them deserve it. But moving on now towards the locks for this Wallabies side. I mean, the locks is very difficult, guys, because we have a few new additions. I've added a new addition towards this updated kind of video. But I mean, there's 7 locks to choose from. I mean, technically 8 if you include Fergus Lee Warner. But I mean, first of all, you have to go with Matt Phillip. I mean, he's arguably been the best lock, I would say, in Super Rugby for any Australian side. So you got to go with him. I mean, second to that. Oh, actually, Jed Holloway. What am I on about? Jed Holloway's been in sensational form. Yeah, no, he's probably the best, actually, now that I think about it. But Matt Phillip isn't too close, isn't far off from that in terms of form. But yeah, I mean, thirdly, I guess you got to go with Darcy Swain, just because Darcy Swain's just an incredible player. Obviously, a young lock as well, so you kind of want to develop those kind of locks for the future. So yeah, he's definitely a mainstay, I think, for the next World Cup in France, of course, and for the one after in Australia. So yeah, he definitely deserves to get a lot of opportunities, in my opinion. Gosh, I mean, you got to select from. I mean, by the way, guys, I do have Isaac Rodder here, Angus Bliff, Sai Loto. And Sai Loto, by the way, is going to Northampton Saints, I believe, starting next year. So he's one player who actually might not be included within this series, in my opinion. So I'm actually going to leave him out. And for that reason, there's another player who's just popped up recently who has come up in recent has come up from injury again, and he has just proved once again why the Wallabies should select him, and it's Will Skelton. I mean, he has been sensational. It's incredible how he hasn't played as many times for the Wallabies as he should have. I mean, obviously he had a big injury for back it was a shoulder injury, I believe, when he was playing for the Saracens. But yeah, no, he definitely deserves to get in. So I'm gonna put him with Isaac Rodder. I think that's pretty fair. And by the way, guys, with including him, he counts as part of one of the 3 players I'm choosing to involve using the Gito rule, of course, which means that you can have 3 overseas players. So he's one of the players I'm selecting. So it's a big decision to put him in, but I think he deserves it, really. But moving on towards the loose forwards. I mean, loose forwards, I think it's pretty easy to do because you do have the likes of Ferguson Warner, Rob Valentini, who's been in sensational form for the Brumbies. Injured of late, but kind of will be back obviously for the tour. I mean, you have Rob Lotea, so I saw a few comments mentioning him, so I included him, of course. Angus Young as well. So all these good, you have a lot of good options there for 6. I mean, Mark Hooper for 7 and Fraser McBride, and then for 8. I mean, you do have a lot of players here, which is Tamale Aloni, Pete Samu, Harry Wilson, and Will Harris. So Will Harris. So there's a lot of good options there, but I think you got to go with. I mean, Rob Valentini is the mainstay, so got to go with Rob Valentini straight away. He just deserves to get in immediately. Second to him, I mean, Ferguson Warner, again, he's another player. And by the way, guys, there is Lachlan Swinton, but I'm just not going to include him within this. I just haven't included him because he's just one of those players who I just don't think deserves to get into the Wallabies. So, I mean, he should have actually been in my thing here, by the way. But he's one player I just don't think will make it because he's just been so reckless in terms of getting a lot of sin bins. So that might cost him getting into this Wallabies side. So instead of him, I'm going to go with Ferguson Warner. But thirdly, I actually will go with Rob Lotea. He's actually impressed me a lot recently within the Rebels. So, yeah, he gets in. Of course, you're going to go with Michael Hooper, the captain. So that's an easy choice, really, for the Wallabies. Same with Fraser McBride. He's been very impressive, very consistent, really, for the Rebels throughout the season. And, yeah, looking forward to see what he does, obviously, within the playoffs against the Crusaders. But, yeah, I mean, you have 5 ready players there. So, really, I'm going to only choose 2 of these 8s. So I'm actually going to go with Pete Samu for the Brumbies. Just, brings a lot of experience. And second to him, Harry Wilson. I think that's kind of I think that's an expected pick, really, just because Harry Wilson again has been in good form and has recently come back from injuries. So yeah, he definitely deserves to get into this Wallabies side. But yeah, moving on towards the Scrum-halves now. So towards the back line. We have a few Scrum-halves to choose from. 4, I believe, with Nick White, Jake Gordon, Tate McDermott, and Fines. But you got to go with the first 3 just because they're just mainstays, really. They're expected to be within the squad. So Nick White, again, obviously was very vocal, to say the least, against the Blues and was up to his usual antics with just kind of disrupting the play and, kind of trying to get them off their head. But unfortunately, it didn't work. The Blues survived, so... Just saying. But yeah, no, Nick White is a great player, so he deserves to get in for sure. Yeah, Tim McDermott, 100% for the Reds, and second to him, of course, Jake Gordon, who's been again another great player for the Waratahs. So yeah, moving on towards the Fly-halves. Now this is where it gets interesting because you do have the likes of James O'Connor and Noah Laseo, but we do have Quade Cooper, and if I'm not mistaken, Quade Cooper actually got his Japanese team. Hana Zona Kinsu promoted into Division 1 again. So he was a big, help in that progress there in Japan. But he's actually being seen within America, I believe, with the LA Glyphons, I believe. He's been training with them for a few weeks. So yeah, you can definitely see he's preparing himself. So it's interesting to see what happens there because with James O'Connor out for this, out for the moment, I believe for 4 weeks, there's a lot of doubt if he gets selected or not. But for what I've seen, he actually will get selected and he will be fit in time. So for that reason, I'm only going to choose James O'Connor and Noah Laseo. So it's a hard decision, but I'm actually going to leave Quade Cooper out. Of course, there is, there is also Matt Tamua, but again, he just doesn't deserve to get into the squad. So I'm not even going to mention him. But yeah, that's a big, kind of exclusion there for Quade Cooper because he's done brilliantly, really, to kind of return back towards the side. But I think for now, I just can't go for him. If James O'Connor is fit, by the way, I will go for Quade Cooper, by the way. But if James O'Connor obviously isn't injured, but gotta go with them too, I think. For the centers, I mean, I can choose, I think, 5 here, I think. So, I mean, there's a lot of centers to choose from. I mean, yeah, there's a lot. I mean, by the way, guys, for the 10s, there is Tane Edmond, who I have included from the side, and has done brilliantly for the Warthog this year. But again, similar to Pasatoa, like they're just too young to get into the squad now. Maybe for the future, but just not right now. But of course, like I said, maybe on towards the kind of the centers for the side. I mean, we have the likes of Hunter Basami, who's returned for the Reds in perfect timing for their playoff game against Crusaders this week. So yeah, he definitely gets into the squad immediately. That's 100% really. He's like the first player you really include within that center spot. Second to him, you're going to Len Iketal. I think that combination has done very well for the past for the Wallabies. So I'll probably go with them too. Again, you got to go with Samu Karevi. I didn't include him within my last one because I just completely forgot about him, but he definitely deserves to get into this side. So yeah, Samu Karevi slots right back into those centers positions. It might even take up Hunter Pasami's spot. You never know, really. I mean, or even Nikatal's. But yeah, he definitely deserves to get in. Sensational player, really. But I mean, I think I'm going to go Parisi just because he's been so dominant, really, for the Warthogs this year, and he's just proven how consistent he is, and just kind of breaking tackles, and obviously his offload game is just brilliant. So yeah, you got to include him. But fifth, the last player. I mean, there's a lot of players to choose from, like Hamish Stewart, Jordan Bataya, I think Josh Fluke, but he got a shoulder injury, I believe, recently. Israel Simone. I mean, I did include Goodwin, by the way, with my last prediction, but I think he might miss out now. I think I got to go with Jordan Bataya just because he's also versatile and he can play one of the wingers / fullbacks. So yeah, I think that's the five I'm going to go with there. But yeah, here we go. Wingers and fullbacks. There's a lot to choose from. I mean, how many? There's Newsome, there's Dungadu, there's Corbetti, there's Vanavalu, there's Tom Wright, Mark Nar Kwantawasi, there's Will Harrison, Josh Campbell, Andrew Kellaway, Kurtley Bill. By the way, Kurtley Bill is now is a player I've added towards the side because he's actually signed for the Wartars for the upcoming season. So I do believe he will be available for selection for this series. So he might get in. You never know. But yeah, Tom Wright, of course, Tom Banks, and of course Reese Hodge. So yeah, it's gonna be interesting see what happens here. But yeah, I'm actually gonna go with. I mean, you gotta go Corbetti. That's a mainstay just because he's helped obviously the Wild. What's his team's name? He helped the Panasonic Wild Knights. That's it. When the Japanese top league, I think it was like last week. So yeah, he definitely deserves to get in because I saw his highlights actually from that game, and he was in pretty good form. This at least. So yeah, you got to include him. I mean, second to him, yeah, Andrew Kellaway, 100%. I mean, them two were probably the main winners really for the Wallabies when it came towards the last Rugby Championship. So those two definitely deserve to get in. I mean, you got to go Tom Banks as a 15, guaranteed 15. I mean, Tom Wright as well deserves to get in. He's been in good form and can play either 11 or 14, so he's versatile in that sense. Gosh, who do you go for here? Do you go Dungadu? Do you go Joe Campbell? Kurtley Bill? Oh, this is interesting. I actually am going to go with Dungadu. Oh! You know what? This might surprise a few people, but I'm actually going to go with Jock Campbell. Like, I want to go with Dungadu, but I don't know. I just don't think he can make it. I mean, there's also Kwantawasi as well, actually, now that I think about it. He's Nara Kwantawasi, of course, but I don't know. It just reminds maybe Tom Wright is the replacement 11, and then you put Mark in. Ooh, I do like that a lot, actually. And Jock Campbell's been in good form. You know what? Actually, I am going to do that. This might surprise a lot of people, but I'm actually going to put Nara Kwantawasi to get in. And then for the replacement 15, I'm actually going to go with Kurtley Bill. Yeah, I think he deserves it. And he obviously is coming from the Wartars to play. So, yeah, I think he gets in. So let's just see back the numbers for a 36-man squad. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31. Oh, I've selected 37. And then 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Oh no. I've selected 37 players. I gotta take one out. Oh, this is horrendous. Are you kidding me? I have to take one of these players out. Oh, that's bad. Oh, that's not what I want to do. See, I'm already looking at firstly Warner to maybe take out or Rob Latea. Because you can have those two. I mean, you have 3 players within that position, and Rob Latea is definitely going to stay. So Ferguson Warner's he's been in good form. That's annoying. But he can play at lock as well, so I think it's better to go with him because he's versatile. Wow, this is a tough decision. Okay, you know what? I'm going to take Rob Latea. That might anger a lot of people, but I think that's what I'm going to have to go with. So there you go, guys. That is going to be my squad. I believe, yeah. Just let me count one more time to make sure. 1. Yep, 36-man squad. Wow, guys, that is it. Do let me know in the comments, by the way, if you disagree or if you agree with my selection. I want to know right now. Yeah, this was very tough. But, guys, definitely write in the comments, by the way, if you agree or disagree with my selection. Do you think that some players should have been included, or do you think some players should have not been included for my prediction? Do let me know right now in the comments right now, guys. And if you haven't already, definitely subscribe to the channel, guys, for more content like this. I will probably do another video like this within the next couple of days, probably involving either South Africa's team or New Zealand, my updated prediction for New Zealand. So stay tuned for that. But yeah, guys, like I said, subscribe to the channel, guys, and like this video, guys, right now. But thank you for this opportunity, guys, for just giving me my opinion really on this team. It was really hard, but yeah. Anyway, it was all good fun. But anyway, guys, hope you have a good day, and see you guys next time.